Level 5 has this one annoying yet challenging villain that can jump kick you and knock you down, and if you do avoid him, he throws a shuriken at you. However, in the Game Boy, he does none of these as soon as he appears, making this level much easier as you can defeat him before he even has a chance to attack. Worst part of the Game Boy game is the mini-boss on this level. As soon as you punch him, you walk forward, and he is punching you before you have 2 or 3 punches landed on him. As soon as you punch him, you walk forward, and he is punching you before your second or third punch ever reaches him. Whenever you punch him in the air, he'll land on you and punch you before you even have a chance to react. It's very annoying, and you will lose lives here. And you have to fight him 3 times. The Genesis version is easier compared to the other versions. Later in the level, you encounter rats. In the Game Boy version, your headbutt is turned off, making it hard to punch them, as previously stated, because you move through them, leaving yourself vulnerable to being punched before you even damage the enemy once. Boss 5, Robomanus, fights the same in all 4 versions. Level 6 is just 4 screens of fighting men or robots before fighting the Shadow Boss. In the NES and Super Nintendo, he'll charge at you with his shoulder pads, and eventually he'll turn into a spiked ball and bounce around back and forth, leading to instant death if you're not hanging from a lamp. But in the Genesis, his charge and his spiked rolling ball looks the same. You can still hit his shoulder charge that looks like a spiked ball, but his real spiked ball is still invincible. The Super Nintendo and Game Boy remove the Shadow Boss's teleport, while the Game Boy removes his rolling ball attack entirely, meaning you can beat him exactly like the very first boss. The Game Boy was cool in how it copies the original game, but it fails with all the bosses, making them way too easy. The game is nothing like the previous Battletoads game on the Game Boy, in which every single boss was incredibly hard. Finally, you'll get to the Dark Queen. She hides under the ground and moves across as a flame trying to burn you. If she runs into you, you'll take damage. The biggest difference in the Nintendo and Genesis is that any time there is fire around her while she rises and descends, you get hit. But in the Super Nintendo and Game Boy, you won't get burned while the Dark Queen is rising or lowering. You'll only get burned when she is not on the screen. The speed of the Dark Queen increases as you hit her, but in the NES, it gets so fast you can't react to what she's doing. The Genesis is the slowest, making her the easiest boss. Strangely, the Super Nintendo takes 1 of your 6 life points when you are hit, whereas NES and Game Boy take off 2 of your 6. The Nintendo continues to show its brutality. Just watch the Dark Queen and how she can combo kill you instantly. The music. Listen to some of this stuff. The music really draws you into what is really a short game, and the rockin' tunes work well to get you pumped for the fight. If you want a real challenge, try the Nintendo version's Dark Queen. I know I went over the differences and some of the problems, but the games are really fun to play. I grew up with the Super Nintendo version, and even though you can beat it after only a few plays, something about it draws me back to playing it from time to time. Its combination of giant and crisp graphics, immersive music, great gameplay, and overall fun make the Super Nintendo a memorable beat-em-up experience. And it's even more fun with a friend. In the previous Battletoad game, you can only play by accidentally hitting your friends. In these versions, that has been fixed. You can now choose to play that way, though I don't know why you would. You can also choose to play a two-player version where none of your attacks will ever hurt your friend Toad. Looking at data from GameFAQs, Japan has no release date for any of these titles. They were only released in the United States and the United Kingdom. Each game, except the Game Boy, has a 10 live stage select code. However, here is what happens when you beat the game using this code.